somewhere. What you can't understand, Mr. G, is that I have been raised up in a different world than you've been raised up. I've been raised up in the penitentiary. There's no weakness in the penitentiary. There's no sorrow or remorse in the penitentiary. You come to the cell and you go in and you find Jesus or you don't. You either find Jesus or you run with the devil.
Don't you think Jesus would be appalled that you were invoking his name?
I didn't invoke any name. They put that on me. The Spirit laid that over on my track. I'm the man in the mirror, guy.
I know, man.
You know, if you like me, I like you. If you don't like me, I don't like you. You swing at me, I'll swing back. You dig? You cut at me, I'll cut you. You know, whatever you point to me, I'll get back to you.
But it's more than that, though, isn't it, Charlie?
Well, sure, I'm in harmony with God. That's just a word. We don't, we use the word God.
Or the devil.
Oh, the devil, yeah, you could use the word devil or demons or whatever you want to call it.
Mostly the devil in your world, eh, Charlie?
Well, okay, I'll play. There's no game I can't play.
There's people
no
that say
game I haven't played.
you are the devil here.
Okay, I'll be the devil then.
You like that?
I don't like or dislike nothing. I see everything as it is. Your courtrooms have convicted me for being Jesus Christ in one courtroom.
Well,
And then then in the other courtroom, you convicted me for being the devil. Now, if you believe in your own courtrooms, you've convicted me for being the father of this country. We'll say that I am all these things that you think I am.
Right.
Wouldn't that be more fearful than letting me try to be a nice guy? Would you want to make me into those things? Would you want me to, do you need someone like that in your world? That's your judgment now. The judgment you're making on this mirror, man, you got to carry. You want to make me a terrible, violent, no good, so-and-so, and run, when actually, in reality, I'm a deadhead, man. I've been dead since 1951. I was the only guy that cared. I was the one that picked the kids up out of the streets and give them a little place to stay. But I learned better than that.
You gave them a place to stay and then you turned them loose.
No, I didn't turn them loose. I turned them loose. Yeah, in respect,
And there's 9 bodies to show for it.
No, there's more than that. They become free in their minds. We started a rebirth movement, and these kids come around me.
Yeah.
They say, you're God. You have the voice of God. And I say, there's a whole penitentiary of guys like me. You know, I'm nothing. I'm just a messenger. I'm a witness, that's all. I'm just a poop butt that dropped out of the penitentiary. And they seen something in me I didn't see in me.
What'd they say?
They seen a nice guy. And I'm not a nice guy.
I agree.
But they seen that. So I said, well, as long as they seen a nice guy, I'll reflect the nice guy. I'll be the nice guy to them. So I played as much nice guy as they could deal with. And I held the line of nice guy. And I looked out for everybody, and I gave them places to stay, and I kept all the other not-so-nice guys off of them.
Smart boy.
I knew Linda Kasabian. I seen her 3 times in my life, maybe 2 minutes in my whole life I seen that broad. She come up to the ranch for about a week, and she said, hey, my name is Linda. I said, oh, Linda. She said, can I stay here? I said, can you stay here? She said, I'd like to live at the ranch. I said, I'd like to live at the ranch. She said, well, can I stay here? I said, can I She says, yeah. And I put my hand up her dress, and I said, yeah, okay, you can stay around. That's the biggest thought in my head, was getting at her body. I wasn't thinking about sending her down to be no troops about saving nothing or stopping nothing.
So what'd they do?
They did whatever they did.
So what do I do?
That's a dispensation of the Pope. It's the same thing he does with the Cardinals, man. It's the same thing they do with the committee.
Did you tell those women to kill somebody?
Dude.
Melcher somebody, someone who reneged on a drug debt?
Hey, let me tell you something about
Tell me something.
The women I don't got to tell them what to do. If I got to tell them what to do, I'll set them up on the highway and get them away from me. I don't deal with women I got to tell them what to do. They know what to do. If they don't know what to do, they better stay away from me.
And in your case, they knew to kill.
They knew to take care of me.
They knew to kill
They
for
knew
you.
to look out for number
They
one.
knew to kill for you.
No.
They knew to kill pregnant women.
I'm a lizard on a rock, man. I'm a coyote or a bug in the bushes, man. Why I got to be I don't live in that world you live in. I wouldn't, I don't have nothing to do with that world. I drove in Cadillacs through. So you got to realize I live in a very violent world.
Press the button.
The violence has always been around. I'm in the eye of that. Been in it all my life. So I keep it off of me with motions and force fields, dig? In other words, I don't really get involved in that because I don't lie. I've sat in that cell 18 years.
I don't.
If you sit in that cell 2 weeks, you'd be banging your head on the wall.
You're right.
Yeah. So you come and live with yourself in a little old square box for 18 years with everybody getting down on you, and they haven't touched me because I know what I do. I don't break laws. I make laws. I'm the law maker. track down. They drive the train. I lay the track. I'll make the laws. If I take this chair and I knock that light down, I'll make a whole new procedure with it.
Yeah.
I make the laws from here.
Okay, how do I activate this thing? Press the button. Press the button.
This
Son
is
of a
me.
bitch. All right.
Nixon was only playing. That's me. Now, I admit I influenced
So how do I?
everybody out there at that ranch.
Did I?
I take responsibility for those 9 people getting killed.
Do you feel remorse?
I don't know what that is.
What if I said, Charlie, your physical being is free as of right now? You go outside the gate, your body, where would you go? What would you do?
Go probably look for a place to sit down.
What would you do?
I give you anything I got for a little peace of mind.
Okay.
Question. What do you think of the death penalty?
I don't think really that, I think that belongs to God.
Explain.
God gives life, God takes life.
But how come you didn't live your life with that commandment?
I did.
That's not what I heard.
Well, that's what you heard. It's a little difference from what you heard and what is.
Do you feel fortunate that you survived because the law is declared
There was no doubt in
unconstitutional?
my mind I would survive. I'm in harmony with the truth. I didn't kill anyone.
I haven't denied too much
Well, how do I
of the
turn this
crime
thing on?
that has been brought against me. I've confessed to all of it, but there are some areas such as that I cannot confess to because it would be a lie. I don't remember her being hung.
You know what I think? I think that you are an evil person.
Right, I'm evil. I'm terrible.
You are,
Oh,
Charlie.
yeah, I'm awful. I'm awful.
You're a murdering dog, Charlie.
Oh, I'm a terrible dog. I'm a fiend.
You're a mass murdering
A
dog.
mass murdering dog. And where did you get these ideas?
You left a trail of dead bodies.
Leave a trail of
Come
dead
on,
bodies,
Charlie,
man.
stop f***ing me.
Okay,
Really?
okay.
You're a damn evil person and you're a murderer.
Come on, feel it.
No, I mean, I get pissed off, man. I can play, but I get pissed off,
Get him,
man.
get him, get him, get him, get him, get him, Ghost.
Let me ask
I
you.
was the male at the crime. But at that time, I did not consider myself a leader. I considered myself more of a follower of Charles Manson in carrying out his orders.
Help me understand something, Charlie. Why do people murder? Why did those girls murder for you? Why did Tex
They
Watson
didn't
murder
murder
for
for
you?
me.
You told them to.
No. Come back, DA. Come back. That's not reality.
What is?
No, reality is they did what they did. They're responsible for their own actions. I'm responsible for my actions.
Ever kill anybody?
I've come awful close a few times.
Come on, didn't you, Charlie?
What do you mean, come on, didn't you, man? I ain't lying to you. If you think I'm lying to you, you're wasting my time and your time.
Okay, let's not lie. Let's be
There's
clear.
no reason
Let's
to.
be straight.
There's no reason.
How do
What
I
are you
turn it
guilty
on?
of then?
I'm guilty of,
All right.
what am I
Now press
guilty
the
of?
button.
I'm guilty of thinking that I had rights in a courtroom. That's what I'm guilty of thinking. And you're either going to have to give me my rights in a courtroom or you're going to have no courtroom.
Why is...
You're going to have to give me my rights.
I heard that already. I heard that.
You know,
Murder.
murder,
Why is it so common?
because you're out of balance. Your social consciousness is out of balance.
Don't give me that line, please.
The premise of your reality sets in the judges' benches, man. The judges' benches represent crime. The police represent, they do the will of the judge. The attorney general does the will of that. The governor does the will of that, all the way up through the Pentagon, all the way up to where the bombs drop off on the rice farmers. It all starts down here in the courtroom.
Is it easy to take a life?
I never took anybody's life.
Is it easy to stick a knife in somebody's body?
I generally don't stick people. I cut them a couple times first and make them show them that I can, but I've never really stuck anybody, not stuck my knife in them. I cut them a couple times, show them I could, and then tell them, you know, don't make me do this no more.
Susan Atkins come home to you, bloody hands.
Yeah,
He says, Charlie, look what I did for you.
yeah.
I put it in.
I give you the world.
Right. Put it
I
in.
just killed myself and I give you the world.
Who you dated.
So,
Okay.
how do you
And I say, you dumb I already had the world. You just put me back in jail again.
So restore it. I don't.
That's what you did. You put me right back in jail.
If I was guilty of something, and after all the pressure they put on me, and they put that medication on
I don't understand.
I mean, all the doctors drugged me up down the hallways and done everything they could do to kill me. I've had this whole country down on me trying to murder me for all kinds of different, everything they don't understand, what they don't know, what they can't realize. Every little insecurity they got, here they come, bringing it to me. Dig, and I got to carry it on my back. Do you think I would still be here if I was guilty of anything? And look me in the eye. Look me straight away in the eye. Do I look like I'm guilty about anything?
You look more guilty than anyone I ever looked in the eye in my life.
Really? Yeah, you see what I'm saying? In other words, the guys you're trying to make me into is impossible. What you're doing is you're creating a legend, you're creating a beast, you're creating whatever you are judging yourselves with into the word Manson. And that's not me at all.
You're not a beast, Charlie. You are a beast.
See? I'm whatever you need me to be for you. And whatever you make me is what you'll carry the rest of your life and forever.
You named yourself, Charlie. It's right there.
No. You don't even know what that means.
Do you think that this world, San Quentin, has any relation to the world outside?
This world, San Quentin, is where all the children of God are. This is where you keep all your children that you don't want. The ones that you get to carry the heavy load.
Charlie.
You didn't bring the guitar.
They wouldn't let us.
They wouldn't let you.
We brought it, but they wouldn't
These
let us
lofts
bring
were
it.
for you, man. Hey. Damn, man.
I don't want to pick on you.
Still don't communicate. Hey, we talked about what I did. You want to talk about what I could do? I could do just about anything I want on my road. I could send for your head and put it in a box if I wanted. I wouldn't, but I could, just like you could too. Going to chop up some more of you. I'm going to kill you as many as I can. I'm going to pile you up to the sky. I figured about 50 million. If I could get about 50 million of you, I might be able to save my trees and my air and my water and my
Fire
wildlife.
extinguisher. What can I do with a fire extinguisher? Fucking nothing.
Camera's rolling.
Later, so I can go into it.
When you and
Come
Mel
on,
write a
baby
book,
girl. Come on.
what are you going to talk about? What are you going to try to bring out in your book?
I never even thought of anything like that. I'd have to give that some thought.
We're gonna use this fire extinguisher for something.
I was doing this on Mel's request. He wanted to write the book. I don't particularly care to explain nothing to you. I don't look up at you for any reason to bring my report card home anymore. Does that make sense?
Well, no, what I'm trying to find out is, what would you like to bring out in the book that can teach other people?
What can you teach other people?
That's what I'd like to know. What do you think you can teach other people?
That's what I'd like to know, too. I know how to be reborn and start all over. I start all over. I don't start all over with the same old. I just start all over. Even though I might be old, I'm still brand new every day because I do one day at a time, just like that old convict used to tell me. Isn't that what he used to say, man? One day at a time. So I've learned to live my life in one day at a time.
Is there anything you think you can pass on that society really is missing and that you can tell them about?
Society knows when it wants to know. There's just a jellyfish, and it's only controlled by the people who want to move the sheep around. They'll tell them anything. Everybody knows that everybody's lying. Do you know anyone that tells the truth? Can you trust a lawyer? Can't trust a lawyer. You can't trust. Who can you trust? The President, Nixon, Watergate? Look at where your children are looking at it from. Who can they trust?
So you would try to tell parents something about raising children?
I would try to tell the children how to help the parent.
How?
By realizing that the parent is the child. Because he doesn't understand the child, but the child understands the parent. I've talk with little kids, they just tell the truth. No lie in them.
What do you want to point out in the book if you bring that out? What would you like to point out?
You people are on your road going where you're going. If you don't want to stop from going where you're going, I'm not going to stop you. You know, you're going to your destruction, not mine. I've already established mine. You know, I've already went through mine. I've been judged. The judge gave me 9 life sentences.
But hold a minute. You really are. But in your philosophical talk, a lot of people won't, it'll go right over their heads. That's what I'm trying to say. Put it so they can understand it in lay language. Can we do that?
Well, it's sad all over, really. You know, it's hard for me to express how much sadness that I've went through to reach this point of understanding that I'm now talking to you from.
Hey, Greener.
How are you going to help somebody that don't want help?
Will
Hit
your
them in the
book-
head and make them do it?
Will your book do that? Will you try
Will I try?
to explain that?
Will I try to help you people destroy me some more? Is that what you're saying?
No.
That's what I'm doing here.
Will your book help children? Help parents?
I don't know whether it will help anyone. I've never thought about that. You guys would have to show me what help is so I'd know what it is. You teach me, I'll learn. I'm just a little kid in mine. See, I've been in jail 30-some years. I never lived in your world outside. I'm like a little kid out there.
Will your life story help somebody else to understand how to proceed?
If it was possible to present everything that's came down in the last few years in a proper perspective, it would be advantageous to other people, I would imagine. But if they had eyes in their head and they could see under the bed, they'd see that heads of lead and eyes of wood. It doesn't really matter because rubber fingers is taking the hand off into the universe anyway. The level of comprehension that you hold in your mind is only taught you by a school book that's in a sorority house. My father jumps off the Second World War in the ruptured ducks that were in the little pins and the buttons, in Section 8 in the nut wards, and all the people that have gone crazy.
Your father was crazy?
My father was all men that I've ever met in prison. Mel's one of my fathers. Creepy Carpus is another. I learned something from everyone. The captains, the wardens. I never missed anybody. I learned as much as I could from everybody I could get a hold of. And I've never met anybody that I couldn't learn something from. But now that I have learned what I've learned, I don't think you people want to know what I know. You wouldn't like it.
Why?
Well, because it's not very nice.
Well, why?
Because the people that you let run your lives aren't very nice. The people that govern you, the people that tell you people what to do, they're not good people.
Let me change the subject for a minute. You've been back on a job out of segregation for how long now?
I don't know. I got up and came out here today.
How long have you been working in the chapel?
I explained to you, I live one day at a time.
Right.
I don't have any other life outside one day at a time.
What brought you back into the mainline population?
What brought me back into the mainland? The preacher, with his love and respect and help, got me back on the main line.
After all that years of solitary, all those years of solitary and segregation, how is it?
Still right now, I'm doing the same day I've always done.
After all that years of solitary.
I've just had to bring it a long ways. But it's still today, and it's still a good day. And every day it gets a little better. No matter what you do to me.
Are you at peace with yourself?
Whatever that means, I I never even thought about to ask myself if I was. I don't generally talk to myself. But I guess talking to yourself would be all right.
He just said to me, you know,
You want a sound check from us?
I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
I want you to give this question a lot of consideration. You don't have to answer me now, but can you imagine what it would be like to be interrogated by the SS?
I don't know whether I could imagine it or not.
Think about it.
Well, I know what their tactics are. Okay. Can I answer it after the interview?
There's no doubt about it, is there?
Can I answer it after the interview?
Very serious, isn't it?
Sure it is. Can I answer you after the interview?
No, you don't have to answer me. You can just think about it
I will.
in your everyday
Okay.
doings.
Let's talk about Helter Skelter. Bugliosi paints you as a small would-be pop singer, as he describes it, of little talent.
Guillotine?
How do you react to that?
Bugliosi looks in the mirror every morning when he shaves. And that's the only person in Bugliosi's world. Just him. Ask his wife. She knows it.
What about the accuracy of the book, though, Charlie?
He had the dates right and the names right, but he had a million illusions that had nothing to do with my reality. He was only trying and convicting his own reality. Didn't have anything to do with me. I've already been through all these prisons.
But he did paint you as probably one of the most universally known persons
To who?
around, to readers, people who read it.
And they believed it?
I don't know. What do you think?
Then they're not as good as what they read, are they?
But the book, how accurate or inaccurate is it?
I never read it.
Didn't you brief it one time?
I read parts of it.
Yeah. How did you find it?
Put your hands up.
Like I say, it was reflections of what he was thinking. It had nothing
This
to do
is
with
the
me.
railway? Oh, God.
Seriously, the Charlie Manson that you created, that's not me. That's only an illusion in your minds. It hasn't got anything to do with me.
What's the real Charlie Manson?
I haven't really been able to make him up. See, I've just been reborn again, see, and I'm learning now. I'm starting all over, and I'm learning.
What's
The
why?
preacher's teaching me,
Oh,
the teacher's teaching me, the counselor's counseling me, and the doctor's looking out after me. The guards don't bother me that much, and I don't bother them that much. They do their jobs and raise their kids, and I do my job and do what I do for my kids.
You know, there was a time a while back where when you got out into the main line, you ran into trouble. I remember Bobby Davis up at Folsom.
I ran into trouble.
Well, you got into trouble.
Who told you that? You see what I'm saying?
Did it happen? Did you fight?
Many things have happened. No, I didn't fight.
Where you fought? Where somebody come after you?
Where I fought, sure, I've been fought many times.
Did somebody come after you?
Someone come after me?
please, listen.
No, someone could come after me if they wanted to.
If this don't
But
have
did
what I
they?
need, I don't know what to
No,
do.
they've always left me here. Nobody wanted me.
You haven't had any trouble on the outside?
On the
The past.
outside where?
Okay,
in
go on this
prison.
story.
In the prison, no. In the population, no. I get along with most of the convicts. The convicts that get along with
The
themselves.
shutter lock has been twice shut.
There's much harmony in prison. More every day. There's much wisdom in the prison.
What's shut?
More every day.
Getting back to the book, what is this magnetism that people keep referring to? And it's been beyond that. People writing you, wanting to meet you, your people that you had in the desert. What is the magnetism?
Why don't you answer that question?
I'm asking that question.
Well, can't you see?
Well, tell me, what is it?
Well, what do you think it is?
Do you know?
Do you know?
Don't play games with me.
It's no
Seriously.
game. I know. That's why. That's why you're asking me questions, and I'm not asking you questions.
Okay.
You see, I don't need to ask you questions. I already know.
Could you tell me?
Sure, I can tell you. Do you have the time?
I'm here.
Where would you like to start?
Well, what is it? Go ahead and tell me.
What is what? Are you secure?
Charlie.
The government is the United States. The government has never been more secure. Never been more secure than it is right now.
Hold it, bud. Seriously, I want to know. All right?
Okay?
What is it that draws people to you?
Music, motion, generating, attention, reality. I know. When you know, you just
Why don't
simply
turn this thing
know.
on, bro?
Jesus on that cross. You know he's there. Is he there? Is the cross
Press
there?
the button.
I know the cross is there. You don't have to put me on the cross to witness for the cross. I can see the cross. Now what I'm trying to do is get back to earth so I can go out in the desert. I've already cleaned that thought up once. And you put another president in.
But you said
And
it was
every time I
people-
clean it up, you put another president in.
All right.
you know.
You said it's people who are in harmony with you. What do you mean by
The
that?
people that are in harmony with themselves, in the will of a child. The child has a will. You tell the child to come here, and the child will walk over. You tell him to sit down, and he'll sit down. He's just in the will of the child. God and his children are in the will of a child. It's just as simple as the Bible said that you must be as little children before you enter the kingdom of heaven. If the Christians had believed in the Bible, then we wouldn't have all this conflict. But evidently, the only ones that are in conflict now are the Christians. You know, like they don't seem to believe in their own God for some reason. I don't know what it is. Maybe they need to see him on the cross again. Or maybe they should pray for him to come out of the sky in a silver platter. Or, you know, I don't know. I'm just here, and you're there. And who is your reality? And where do you get your energy from? And where does your soul flow? And your thoughts? And how do you know you know? Unless you have to come and say, Charlie, how's the Dow Jones?
You read the Wall Street Journal.
Certainly I read the Wall Street Journal. I'm right at the top of your brain. And I'll read the Wall Street Journal until you let me walk out that door a free man. Or we'll just use Indian head pennies for earrings.
What if you did get a parole date in November? What would you do?
Then I would give it some serious thought. I don't have room in my mind for could-bes. I have to deal in what is. I can't think about what I want. I have to deal with what I'm allowed to have.
What if you got a date?
If I got a date, then I would probably have a date.
Do you know what you'd want to do?
Yes, I have many plans. A lot of plans. I'd like to clean up the water. I'd like to go up in the mountains and start at the top of the mountains and clean the springs up. Take all the pollution out of the water so I could drink it. Clean up all the green things and pick up all the old beer cans and clean all the way to the ocean. And then maybe we might be able to save a little air and water for our children. Because I'm living in my child's world now. I'm working on his world. My world already went to the gas chamber.
What if you don't get a date?
If I don't get a date, then I won't have a date.
Have you thought about it, then? I know you want to get a date. But what if you don't?
I gave it some thought, but not that much. I've gave it thought in relation that it's possible that they'll be pushed to make some sort of move
No,
to alleviate the pressure that they've created on themselves.
no, really?
Uh,
Oh my gosh.
if there's any way that I could help that, I would, then that way I could achieve what I'm after also. All I want is what the Constitution said I could have. The liberty and the right to look for my freedom the way I want. If you gave the Constitution to me like you said you were supposed to, then I wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't have been here the last 11 years. But if you let your politicians play like they're Christians
Yes.
and use your courtroom
Yes.
to further their own purposes,
Lucas figuring things out.
then
Wait,
all you're
I have to
doing
look
is
it up.
big
I have to look
business
it up.
with your
Hey,
own children's
hey,
lives.
Go me.
And it really doesn't make
Go
sense
me.
to me,
Genius.
but I don't have the
genius
president's
coming through.
spot
What is
to make any change.
What is better not be a rocket.
If I had the control to make the change, I have the power to.
Take the briefcase. Okay. What do I do now? Oh, Charlie. All right. Now that we
It's
have
all right.
briefcase.
Got good paper and all in it. All this paper comes from trees. It's a shame to waste all your trees writing this trash for your children to be raised up in. Do you want your children to live according to the gospel of helter skelter?
Where are the inaccuracies in it?
Well, it would take me as long as it took him to point them out. It took him 2 years in court to invent them. It would take me 2 years in court to uninvent them and redo them and show the proper perspective of it.
Bugliosi.
Yeah. Helter skelter simply means confusion. And if you don't see the confusion in the world, there's always been confusion in the world, then I guess you don't know what confusion means. But like, I get out of jail, and every time I get out of jail, society's moving a little faster, and they're doing crazier things. And I get out and I can never adjust to it outside because it's
Let me drop it, Britt.
almost
Come on.
impossible to do anything right. Everything is wrong to somebody. I mean, you can't. You have to hide, and you know, day people and night people, and everybody all divided up. And
Did they make up the evidence introduced in court?
a big percentage of it they found and created themselves. They'd push a fingerprint together till it got to be. They justified it, and then they'd send it to another office and let them push it a little bit. Then another office, and they'd push it, and then finally they'd find another point till they finally come up with a fingerprint. Then the people that supposedly left the fingerprint has never lied to me, nor I to them, told me, and I wasn't even there in that particular portion of the crime. I was over in this particular portion of it. In other words, all the little things that they come up with, like the trailer, the door from the trailer that's supposed to have had what we wrote on it is what they wrote on it, and then they burnt the ranch down to cover that up, you know.
But in no way are you saying, in no way are you connected with either the Tate or La Bianca killings?
No, I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying that if it would have come out in the courtroom, I would have explained what happened.
Yeah, somewhere
All we
new.
wanted to do to start with was tell the truth, but the lawyers wouldn't let us because they wanted to sell it. We just wanted to tell the truth, but they didn't want the truth to come out because you couldn't write books with the truth, couldn't make big money, couldn't sell all this madness, all the fear and the vicarious thrill for somebody.
Charlie, regardless of helter skelter, do you belong
I
behind
should
bars?
say that. What do I do?
There's no behind bars.
Do you belong in prison?
There's no prison.
Tell me to say it. I mean,
It's only in your mind.
Do you belong in an incarcerated position?
There's no such thing. There's only you denying my will. Whoever denies my will keeps me locked up here. If everybody agrees to let me go, then I'll walk out. Then I'll be free. And my chains are in everybody's mind. It's in their will. If you will me to be locked up, then I must stay locked up. If you will me to be free, then I'll be free. It's not... It's not as complicated to me as it is to you. You look at it through the books and the paperwork. I don't look at it that way. I look at it from the way I look at it. So, I'll ask you the same question. Do you think you deserve to be locked up somewhere?
I'm asking the questions in the interview. Can I do it?
Well, certainly, but you have to ask yourself the same time.
I realize that.
You know, if justice came, where would we all be? We'd all be in some sort of trouble, wouldn't we? That's why we have Jesus. See, he takes up the slack.
Let me get back to the book for a minute. What do you think Mel is going to try to bring out on your life?
The years that we've known each other through the prisons, and the point of view that he has from the other side about someone that's went through a dilemma that he understands because he's been in many dilemmas of the same nature, maybe not as vast, but then I think that he wants everyone to know that I'm not really the guy that you think I am, but the guy that you made me.
How did we make you?
Well, you raised me from childhood.
How? In what respect are you?
Well, when you have a child that nobody wants, he's always sent to boys' school, orphanage, reform school, or someplace like that. And then they keep him till he gets to be an old man.
Were you beaten as a child?
That hasn't really got anything to do with anything.
Were you abused as a
Well,
child?
we're all abused now and then. That's not really an issue to anything.
What is the issue?
Kids don't work?
Not your question.
I don't know what's.
All right, what is the gut issue?
In the book that he wants to do,
What is the gut issue?
well, I think he just wants to put what he thinks is wrong right and give another point of view. And really, what I really think is, I think Mel's done just about everything he wants to do. And he don't have anything else to do.
Oh, shit, did I put the wrong thing in there?
I think he just wants to do it just to be doing it, because it gives him something to do.
Hold it, bud.
Well, it would make sense. It's just another game to play. See?
I don't-
He would give them immunity for burglaries or let them off some deals. If they stole a few cars, he wouldn't prosecute them if they told him something.
supposed to put that
And they'd
in
lay in their cells just working, trying to think up something, anything they could think of to get up off that conviction where they wouldn't have to go to the penitentiary. Told him a lot of things, and most of the people I didn't even know. Linda Kasabian, for example, she'd only been at the ranch a couple of weeks. I'd seen her maybe twice. You know, like I never paid that much attention to the people that came and went at that ranch. They just came and went as they chose.
So you're saying he's took a few pieces of truth?
And missed it with his ability to play with words in colleges and books and things, and he wanted to impress someone with all the things he's learned, and he wanted some attention, and he wanted to be all the things in the movies, you know, so he played his part. And I wasn't allowed to play my part. I was only allowed to sit down and be the figure that was dragged off into the hole all the time, because he had the money behind him, because he said he had the people behind him. But that's another thing that's wrong with your court system. Your court system's not based on the will of the people, it's based on the will of the money. So your courts are not really protecting anything but the money. It doesn't have much concern for the people anymore.
I've got a curiosity. Can I ask you a question? Remember you had an X years ago and you changed it now to a swastika?
No, I never changed. It's been the same thing all the way along.
Wasn't it always an X?
No, it never was.
What's it stand for?
It stands for whatever I want it to stand for, and whatever I make it stand for, and whatever I want it to stand for.
But you didn't one time say you were Xing yourself out?
No, that was your newspapers that gave you that.
What does it stand for you?
It stands for many things. It would take 2 or 3 weeks to explain all the things that I've built
Can you give me an
in
example?
the image. Certainly, I can give you an example. of the United States flag of America,
The swastika.
the rising sun in the Japanese flag, the Star of David
All
to
right.
the
I think I
Israelis,
finally figured it.
whatever country or nation or people or cause has always had a symbol.
And that's your symbol.
That's mine. I put that there from 2 or 3 other symbols. I didn't want to put a Christian symbol, and I didn't want to put an Antichrist symbol, and I didn't want to put a pro-communism, and I didn't want to put an anti-thermos-like-a-flop-flop-flop-dops and all that kind of stuff that you play.
But it is a swastika. That would be Germany,
means-
wouldn't it?
No,
Nazi?
that's not a Nazi. Hitler got that sign from mysticism and reversed it. He did the same thing, only he did it backwards. You know, it's the thought still here, just like the thought that he picked up was there when he picked it up. The thought has always been here. It's been here since the pyramids have been here, since David and the giant, since the whole thing. It's always been here. And every once in a while, there's a guy like Gandhi that comes and picks it up. Or there's a guy like Maharasha Yogananda, or somebody coming out of some prison, or somebody doing something, and they pick it up for a while, and they carry it for a few steps, and then when they're gone, you say, oh, what a good guy he was. But while he's here, he's always just no good at all.
Oh, I still have my lighter on me, huh? That's how they get you. Oh, fuck! Fuck! God damn it. I did not mean to do that. Fuck. Damn it. Well, damn it. Not great. Not great.
But it's due to classification is what drives maybe assaults on himself.
The interview, or you? Yeah, I'll do the interview for you, and then I get a few minutes to send to this.
No problem.
No problem. I figured that, you know, that would be worth something, you know.
Okay.
So,
Do you want to sit down?
Jamil, it's going to depend largely on what you say, Charlie, if we're going to allow it to exit the institution.
what do you mean? You gonna put your importance up over somebody like you're somebody? You ain't nothing but a lot, man. Sit down and keep your mouth shut. You don't run anything.
Okay, just
You
let
don't
me
run a damn
What
thing.
you say,
You don't run a damn thing. You understand what I'm saying to you? You don't run nothing here. You know, whatever he's telling you, you know, if he's putting his importance up over you, there ain't nothing over you right now, except my old lady in Florida. My old lady's over you in Florida.
Did.
And that's the only thing that's over you. You take that all the way to Regan and his horse.
Who is your old lady in Florida?
Squeaky's in Florida right now.
What's
They
he
took her from Kentucky. She's trying to get us a trial. We didn't get a trial. We didn't get our rights. We didn't get anything. We were tried by the news media. We weren't tried by the courtroom. The courtroom just, the news media was selling it. It was making money. They was buying and selling it. And when it's making money, they're going to sell it. They don't care who's got to pay the price for it. But we had to pay the price for it, you know. I didn't break no law. Everybody in the world knows that. But it seems like these people around here, they can't get in their brains that I didn't break no law.
What has Squeaky got to do with me?
Because there's only one woman, girl. There's only one woman.
What does that mean?
That's Jesus. You're on the cross, woman. You don't even, you know, you people don't even know where you're at or what you're doing or what's going on in the world.
You're saying there's one woman. Is there one man?
Man died in the wars. Arlington Cemetery's got all the men. 2,000 years, the man's been dying. It's all a reflection of Mother. Unless you go to Lebanon somewhere.
I need to put a mic on you, is that okay?
Unless you go to Lebanon or go to Babaskan or go out in the jungle, you might find one, you know, but I don't think you're going to find one not out in this madness. You know, they're all working for you. She knows that, you know. Sure she does. Sure she knows it. She knows there's only one. It's got nothing to do with me personally. When I got out of jail last time, she come up and she said, can I hang around you? I told her, no way. She says, why? I said, every time I let you around me, I end up in jail. Put you back in jail.
This was in 67?
Yeah, this was 67.
You knew her before that.
I knew her in
I can't believe I
dreams.
ate all my herbs.
Her daddy's a rocket scientist. He makes rockets and Boeing aircraft. And I met her on a street corner. She didn't have no place to stay. Her parents kicked her out, you know. And I knew what her heart was and where she was running and what she was doing, because that's an old garbage can to me. I've run through that before. So I told her, no way. And she said,
Really?
she
What
said,
if
I
they
won't
use
put you back in
these?
jail if you don't break the law. If you break the law, you put yourself back in jail. And that's true, you know. So I said, all right, you back in jail. If you don't break the law. I said, you give me your word as your bond, and your bond is your life? And she said, yeah, I give you my word, you know. I said, okay. So she hung around for a while. And the reason that there was a lot of girls around that place is because I play music. And I play pretty good music.
Do you play music now?
No, these jealous snake that's on top of me are lacking in manhood. So they don't want nobody like me to live. They do their damnedest to kill me every day they get the chance, you know.
You're not allowed a guitar then?
No, I'm not allowed anything.
Do you miss the music?
There's no need
Yeah,
to use it about
that's
the fire.
that's what I live for, music, yeah.
How long has it been since you played?
Quite a while. They let me touch it every once in a while, but they don't want me to play. It's like everybody wants the attention. I don't want the attention. I just like to play music
Why are you doing this interview, Charlie?
because I can get another roll of film and send it down to Bogus, and I owe him a little something.
Is that the only reason?
And that my old lady's in Miami, that she's in Florida.
What has that got to do with it? What has she
Well,
been...
she'll see this, and she'll know that I'm still where I'm at in relation to here.
You call Squeaky your old lady. Does that mean you have a romantic relationship with
No,
her?
I don't play all that, you know, she's just a friend, what you would call a friend. She does what she wants, I do what I want. She's just a person. They say that I was a leader in a family of people, which is bull. That's bunk. I had a lot of friends because I play a lot of music. A lot of people like my music. And we were all friends. There was no such thing as follower, leader. There was no leaders or followers. There was just people, intellect, intelligence. There were people, intelligent life forms. And there was a bunch of kids who were working out their problems for that particular time in that particular space. And each had to do what they felt they had to do for the problems that they were working on, which really had nothing basically to do with me. I'm not of the 60s. I'm not a generation of the 60s. The 60s were little kids to me. The Beatles were like punk rock is to you. That's what the Beatles was to me. You know, that's not my era. My era was Bing Crosby. I'm 53 years old. I'm not a teeny bopper. But all the kids, they would come to me and say, we got no place to go. And I'd say, well, I got no place to go. You know, so they were throwaway kids, and I was a throwaway kid.
Tell me a little bit about your background. Tell me, if you could describe your childhood in a couple of sentences, how would you describe it?
I didn't have a childhood.
Tell me a little bit more. Tell me more.
I went to reform school in 43, and I've been fighting ever since.
Was it as bad as you describe in the book that was co-authored by Newell Evans?
That wasn't my book.
That wasn't your book.
No.
But what about the parts describing your childhood and your experiences in reform school?
That was him writing the book.
So
That had anything to do.
the part about that school in Indiana, that's not true, how you were treated?
Bits and parts of it are true, and bits and parts of it aren't.
Give me a hint.
He gets little information from other people, and anybody that wants to tell him something, and what he wants to believe, and what he feels will sell to the public, then that's what they'll write.
Okay, well, let's not talk specifically about that book then. Tell me how you would describe how bad it was for you in these reform schools.
A child don't know what bad is.
Well, he says in the book that you were raped, that you were beaten constantly.
Come on, man.
That's not true.
That's what he would like to believe. But
So-
there ain't nobody can do that.
So you didn't have a lousy childhood then?
Yeah, I had a terrible childhood. But I'm from here.
In other words, it didn't.
Gonna die,
No,
bro.
I've never
Oh,
sold
yes,
out.
yes, yes.
They've never beat me. I haven't been beaten.
Don't fuck with me.
Tell me about your
Don't
terrible
fuck-
childhood.
The child doesn't know what
I'm so
terrible
far.
is.
You don't want to talk
I've been
about it.
saying,
I'm telling you,
my
the
main
child
crickets,
doesn't know what
my main
terrible
crickets,
is.
man.
Give me a
What is
little bit.
terrible?
Give me a little description of it.
What is terrible? You know, terrible. What does that mean, terrible?
I don't know. You used the word, so I'm trying to get you to
No, I
describe
didn't.
it to
He
me.
used the word in his book. I didn't. I'm not a sniveler. I don't cry. I don't snivel. I don't look for excuses to get off on other things.
What is
You
this?
know, I accept my position and I hold it.
Let me ask you something. How do you spend your days now, since you're not allowed to play music? How do you spend your time in jail?
Setting.
Just sitting?
Order some Jimmy John's.
Do you do anything else?
I'm gonna get some
Do you
Jimmy
read?
John's real quick.
No.
Do you walk?
No.
At one point, I read somewhere that you were making dolls. Is
I
that
do.
true?
I make little dolls, yeah.
Tell me about that.
I just started taking string and making little dolls and bugs and spiders and little, it's a new art form. I created a new art form.
Anything else like that? Any other things that you do in jail?
Yeah, I run an underworld.
You run an underworld in jail.
Mhm.
Tell me about that.
You don't see it? I fly birds. I look out for wildlife. I'm trying to redeem my trees. I have an organization called ATWA rolling now, trying to redeem life on the planet Earth from the people that destroy it.
Tell me more about that. Who's destroying the earth and why?
The things that we do as human beings that are accepted and called right 100 years ago have changed. Years ago, we could cut down trees and we could afford an exuberant lifestyle. We can't afford that no more. We're running out of atmosphere. We're running out of water. Our water's becoming so poisoned and so polluted, we're not going to be able to drink it. The trees are being cut down so fast. Lumber companies are just... The United States is owned by foreign corporations. Nixon opened it up for foreign trade. And when Nixon opened up for foreign trade, the people of Europe and the common market and Spain and different places, they don't care about the United States forest. And in short, the United States has been sold out by people who really don't care for anything but money. I've had all the money in the world 3 times. I had to give it back to keep the game going.
What game?
The game. It's a game. Money is a game. It's only real to the people who work for it. The people that don't need to work for money, it's a monopoly game. It's a game of paper. It's all on paper. I've got a production company, and I've got a recording company, and I've got a mansion in Beverly Hills, and I've got Rolls Royces and Ferraris. I've got everything money can buy, but it's all on paper. Everything's done through the companies and through the tax loopholes, and the people that live on that level, they don't care about the average honest mule that just goes back and forwards to work. They don't care about the children that are in the streets that are thrown out of this upper echelon of existence. And then when all the children fall down into me on my level, I pretty much identify with them because I was a throwaway also. So it goes to the point of, do you really care?
When you
And who
said,
does care? And if anybody cares, they're considered crazy. I've been 15 years in the nut ward for trying to stop the trees from being cut down, from trying to rearrange a lifestyle of a bunch of people who don't want to change, but they're going to change because the cold wind is blowing. You're going to change or there's going to be no life left on the planet Earth. And then there's a bunch of little people that are always trying to play act some sort of importance over the truth about what is rolling on the planet Earth now.
Did you get him? Yeah.
Or she might use for me. Or we might use for another one of the friends. And I say old lady.
Let's get back to that talk about God for a minute. Tell me once again, I don't know if we got that. What you were talking about being God's messenger. Tell me that again.
Life is God. All life. Bugs, birds, trees, everything that's alive is God. The sun is God. But we've got God over here on a cross. We've got a dying man over here on a cross, and we're all kneeling down hoping that if we die, there's a better place somewhere else. Well, you got a whole bunch of people hoping that they die creates a hell of a big energy. And I call it a death wish. It's mother's death wish. It's what everybody's going towards dying, like the Vietnam War when they wanted to blow the world up.
And what have you got to do with God once again?
I'm just a messenger of the truth.
God's messenger?
Life's messenger. We use the word God. The God hooks all the other words up. I'm the Pope. I'm 10 times the Pope. I'm 50 times the Pope. But I'm the Pope in the hills and in the mountains. I'm already out of here. This enclosure here, I'm out of here. My body is stuck here, but my thought is already gone.
When you told me you ran an underworld, is that a joke?
No. No, why would it be a joke?
It's not a joke.
No, when your word is good, it's good.
What do you mean by that?
When your word is good, it's good.
What do you mean by that you run an underworld? What do you mean by that?
A little kid came to me a long time ago in McNeil Island, and he said, "Would you teach me how to speak English?" I said, "No, I won't teach you how to speak English. You're too stupid." He said, "I'm not stupid." I said, "Come on, let's go play some handball." So I taught him how to play handball, and I taught him how to speak English, and I taught him how to tell the truth. He lives in Peru.
What has that got to do with running an underworld?
All I got to do is tell him anything I want him to know, and he knows I don't lie to him.
Is that what you did with your so-called followers?
No. Yes, in a proportion, yeah, sure. But I didn't break will. I didn't break the will.
Are you saying that they didn't do anything they didn't want to do?
That's it. In other words, if I'm with you, whatever you do is your business. I tell you, if you drink out of that cup, you're going to get so-and-so, and you say, "Well, roo." And I say, "Well, that's up to you. If that's what you want. If you go ahead and do it, I mean, that's you. I don't break your will."
What did your followers do?
I didn't have any followers. I had some friends.
What did your friends do?
They did whatever they had to do.
And what was that?
Whatever that was.
Did any of your friends kill people?
Sure.
Who did they kill?
They killed lots of people.
Did they kill Sharon Tate and the people that night?
I imagine so. If they said they did, they did.
Did you tell them to?
No.
Let's talk about something else for a minute. Do you ever have any contact with your children? You fathered at least 3 children, right?
I've got a whole lot of children.
Do you have any contact with them?
I got prisons full of children.
Real children.
I'm talking about real ones. They're as real as you can get.
Children that you fathered, you have prisons full of
Every
them.
child of God is a friend of mine.
Charlie, you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about, do I have any ego children?
Biological
If you and I
children.
have a child, and you take the child off and you raise him to be like you, he's not like me. He's like you.
Are you in contact with any of your
I'm not in
biological
contact
children?
with anyone.
Squeaky Fromm.
I'm in contact with everyone.
Are you ever in contact with your mother, your biological mother?
I am my mother.
Are you ever in contact with any other members of the so-called Manson family, your friends?
The Manson family was a music group. The music group I had was called the Family Jams. And all the girls sang in the music group. And all the guys played in the music group. It had nothing to do with a cult. It was a music group.
Whatever happened to those people? Are you in contact with them?
Sure, they're all doing fine. We're all doing the same as we was doing before. You can never split us apart because we were never together. We were together in soul, we were together in truth, and every one of them knows I've never lied to them. I've never lied to anyone about them or around them. They've never seen me in a lie.
Do you ever get letters from people?
Yeah,
Tell me about some of the letters you get from people.
I get all kinds of letters from all kinds of people, all kinds of kids, all kinds of people that are lost, people that are needy.
Do you write them back?
Sometimes, occasionally.
What do you tell them?
Hello, hi, how are you?
Do you give them advice?
Advice. It's within.
Do you give them advice?
If that's advice, it's within you.
That's the advice you give. It's within
Well,
you.
Whatever advice is,
Do you get visits? Do you get visitors?
no.
Never. You're not allowed visitors?
I've got a lot of people standing on me trying to play important. And each one of them takes a little bit until finally I've got nothing left. And I sit in the cell. And then this dummy wants to come and he wants to get his little bit. And this guy, he wants his little bit. And everybody's got their little bit, you dig? And then I'm stuck up underneath. I can't do anything because everybody else is living my life. They're representing me. If all the people that were representing me that quacked in one direction, if they turned around and bowed in the other direction, I'd have every head bowed. Because they're doing nothing but representing me. Reagan's court was representing me. The court that I was in was Reagan's court, was his appointee. He was representing me. Everybody's been representing me.
Let me ask you another way. I've heard that you get a lot of letters and have in the past gotten a lot of visits from kids. Just kids that you don't know. Is that true?
I am kids.
Have you gotten these kinds of visits
Sure.
and letters from kids that you don't know?
Sure.
Why do you think these kids write you?
Because I am those kids.
What is it about you that they...
I am a child. I never grew up. I never lived in your society. I never went to school. I never had a mother and father. I raised myself up.
What do you think it is about you that makes people want to be a part of whatever it is you're a part of?
I'm brand new. Everything I do is always brand new. I'm on the premise of reality. I walk a real road. I'm a real person inside. I'm not a phony. I don't put on no airs. I say what I think. You see what I'm saying?
Aren't you putting on an air now? Aren't
And
you putting on an act
is
for
it,
me?
when you look it back, see if it's an air. See if where you get it. And someone sees it and goes by and they say, "Hey, how you doing?" I say, "Pretty good. How you be?" Where does it come from? Where does the energy and power come from? Who recharges your battery? You know what I'm talking about.
Isn't this an act right now?
What isn't an act? What isn't an act?
So
Look
you
at
put
yourself.
on act.
Are you an act?
Sure, so are you.
All right, then.
So we're all an act,
Well,
right?
what isn't? The only thing that isn't an act is when someone gets killed. And then it isn't an act because people's fear sees it as being real. So the only thing people see as real is fear. So if the people in the underworld are knocking people down in the streets and breaking their jaws, maybe it's the people in the underworld that want you to see that I am very real and I am on this planet Earth. And I am moving for Atwa, my air, my water, my trees, and my wildlife in every way I know how, in every way I can.
Does the end justify the means?
End, there is no end. There is no beginning. Not in Atwa. There's only redeeming life upon the planet Earth.
Does that goal justify any means?
I don't justify or not justify. I lay it out there. What people do with it's their business. If they decide to run up and kill Sharon Tate, that's on them. Had you let us put on a defense, we could have explained to you why it happened.
Why did it happen?
All right. You take 20 years, 250 district attorneys, 5,000 policemen, everything the news media has got. You put it on one person. And then you come to me and say, explain it away. How can I explain away all the misconcepts in 2 or 3 minutes or 5, 10 minutes? Give me a trial in a courtroom. Give me my rights in a courtroom. And then I'll explain it. I can't explain it just in a few words or in a letter or in a postcard. It's too vast. It's too big. It's circled the world 3 times.
What are you asking for, a new trial?
I'm new. I haven't got the first one yet.
You're asking for a trial, though.
Just a trial. Just give me my rights. All I want is the same rights that my fathers died for. The same rights that says United States of America. I see Reagan getting up in the United Nations telling the world how human rights are so important and how we should give all the humans rights. And then he turned around and asked him on the darker side, what about Charlie? And say, oh, well, he don't deserve no rights. Well, if I don't deserve no rights, then who does deserve rights? I didn't break no law.
Right now you're coming up for parole. You have the right to come up before a parole board. Do you want to get out on parole?
Parole for what? Parole to where? I want my rights. My rights. You give me a parole every other day. It doesn't give me my rights. If I don't have any rights, he doesn't have any rights. He doesn't have any rights, and you don't have any rights.
I think I know what you're saying.
Yeah, in other words, if everybody gets equal rights, you got equal rights to the rights I got. And that's to sit down and keep your mouth shut or get your jaw broke. Is that the rights you want?
Do you want to get out of jail?
Out of jail? I've been out of jail since '67. I got out of prison in 1967.
Would you like to get out of prison?
I'd like to get my guitar and I'd like to see my friends.
What would you do if you got out of prison?
Depends on what level I got on.
What would you do if you got out of prison on parole?
Oh, on parole? I don't know whether I would accept a parole. Because if I accept a parole, then I have to accept a whole bunch of little people play act importance with my life. I'm tired of other people running my life.
Are you saying that you don't want to accept guilt?
Guilt? What the hell is that? I can do anything I want, woman.
What would you do if you got out of prison?
I'm out of prison. I get out every day. I get out in these guys every day. I get out all over. I'm everywhere. I know you're going to lock everywhere up. I'm everywhere, man. I'm all things. How you going to lock that up?
How do you feel about blacks?
Blacks are all right.
How do you feel about Jews?
Jews are all right.
How do you feel about women?
Women, okay.
Why do you wear the sign of the American Nazi Party?
That's my Nazi party. That's me.
What does it mean?
It means I've been locked up in here since 1943. That I'm standing behind the judges in Nuremberg.
I think I need a little more explanation than that.
There's a line that the judge sets on. There's a premise of crime that the Supreme Court sets on, that the government and the crosses set on. I have been behind the judge since 1943. In the infinite consciousness of those black robes, I have been on the dark side of the world you people live in for 43 years, for a little over 43 years. Juvenile halls, Cook County Jail, Chicago, Indianapolis, D.C., Virginia. I did a lot of time in Virginia, all over the country. I've been in and out of jails. I have nothing against no one unless they got something against me. You come up and say hi, I say hi. You say I like you, I say well I like you. You say well I don't like you, I say well I don't like you. In other words, however you reflect to me is what I'm going to reflect back to you. I don't care what color you are, where you're from, or what you're doing, what race you are. I am me first, and that is Scotch. I'm from Scotland first. That's me. And I look out for that, number one, me. Just like everybody else does.
Charlie, do you resent the fact that you've been in jail practically all your life? And if so, why did you continue to do things that put you in jail?
question, ask one at a time. I can't answer two questions.
Do you resent the fact that you've been in jail practically all of your life?
No, I don't know what resent is. That's a waste of mental energy. It's a waste of time.
Do you feel it's wrong?
Right or wrong, I don't judge. That's what they got guys in robes for. They judge.
Well, I guess then I can't really ask the second part of the question.
Okay.
What's the second part of the question?
Well, the second part of the question is, if you resent it, then why did you keep doing things to get it back into jail? Why did you do so many things to get yourself thrown in jail?
Boy,
You seem to like it when you were out, according to what I read.
Well, because I'm stupid. I really am stupid. I'm smart in some things, but other things I'm dumb in, you know. Probably if you notice, people that tell the truth generally act like they're kind of retarded. Mentally retarded people I can communicate with real good. And decent dumb people, man, we talk like crazy, you know. In other words, I'm all right with those. And kids I'm okay with. But when you get grown up, then there's a lot of problems. I don't get along too good with grown-ups. And they get me in trouble. People get me in trouble because I don't have the mental capacity to adjust to the outside. And when I get out there, I'm like a little kid. I'm like a little baby in a lot of respects, you know. That's why Squeaky has fought so hard to get me out, because she knows I didn't break the law. She knows I was used by a lot of different people doing a lot of different things, and that I didn't break the law.
What would you do if you got out of prison?
What would I do? Probably play some music, get my guitar, and go back out in the desert. I got some trees. I was planting some trees. I got some trees. I did a crazy thing. I planted some fig trees, and I didn't know fig trees take two trees. Did you know that? There's male and female trees? I didn't know that. And I was planting fig trees, and every water hole I'd go would plant one tree. And I figured one fig tree at this water hole would be just right for the water hole. But then I come to the gym, I looked in the book and find out, man, you got to have two fig trees to have fruit. So I got a whole bunch of water holes out there with one fig tree planted. So I wanted to get back out and put plant the other side of that, put the other trees out. I like working in the dirt. I like farm work. I like growing things. I like growing things, gardens and things like that. I like earth things I like. I'd probably get back down on the ground, walk around. Just walk around, do the things that everybody does. Nothing. Sit around under a tree. Probably do not much.
How would you support yourself?
Support myself? See, in other words, like, your lifestyle has got you thinking crazy. You know. You support yourself. I got figs over here. I got raisins over there. I got pine nuts over there. I got pockets full of everything you can eat, you know. I got all I can eat, and where I'm laying down is where I'm sleeping. So, I mean, I support myself. How does a deer support itself?
Every time they've let you out of prison before, you've turned to stealing.
Oh, now I'm stealing. You got me in for stealing. I thought I was in here for something else. I didn't know I was in here for stealing. You got me stealing, too? How do you put everything else on me at least 3 times? What did I steal?
Have you never stolen anything?
Sure, I stole a whole lot when I was a kid and thought that was cool. I thought that was cool when I was a youngster. I live by the code of the outlaw. I give everything I got.
Yeah, keep giving me
Take anything I want.
Do you think you've changed?
No, got a little older probably. Changed? I don't know. Changed. How does the universe change?
Don't you think people change when they get older?
When they get older? I don't know, get older. See, all those things that you got in your mind, they don't exist to me. Get older, get younger. I was born 1,000.
So you were born old and young?
Yeah, I was
at the same time.
I was born to...
Oh, man.
Don't be offended.
Hold on. What?
But?
Can't you just
I'm a
combine
nasty old man.
Oh my god. Stupid knife. Oh my
And I'm
god.
mad. But I put my anger in the right direction. The direction of Atwa. For 20 years we've tried to find intelligent life forms in the United States of America, but
We can't pick up
didn't
anything
seem to be any
else.
there. It was all bought and paid for. These guys that sell themselves for that
Nothing
paycheck,
useful. Oh
they
my
don't
God,
exist outside
no.
that paycheck.
Why are you mad?
I'm
Oh,
mad
listen
at
to you.
people taking my life.
Putting you in prison?
No, taking my life.
Wait a
What do you
second.
mean?
You heard?
Well, when you're cutting the trees down, you're taking my life. When you're polluting the water, you're
Oh
taking
yeah,
my life.
press the button.
Laughing. You do it on command?
Your justice system ain't working too cool. You know, so I imagine that there'll be another one phoenixing behind, doing what's right.
Oh shit.
All we're trying to do is do what's right.
Oh
But doing
man.
what's right in a world full of people that don't know what right is, it's difficult. Because you got so many interpretations and so many different people in different directions. You've got 1,000 Jesuses, you've got 1,000,000 devils, you've got 25,000 Napoleons, you got every kind of insanity going in the world coming. And Atwa. Atwa also means at war, if you put an R on the end of it. It
At
means
war with what?
pollution. Pollution. A revolution against pollution.
So you're telling me all these people think that you hate the blacks and you hate the Jews and you kill people and all you're really trying to do is stop pollution?
All the time, it's been the same thing. Whatever people put on me is what they're trying to play themselves on their level.
Tell me once again, I didn't quite get it, why
Sorry,
the American Nazi Party sign on your
When
forehead?
those 8 people were killed in Uganda, when that plane was skyjacked, and Idi Amin was put in the position to rule Africa, I was in that episode. And that's the only way I could save my head. Because there was a lot of violence, a lot of fear, a lot of bloodshed was going on in those days and times to stop the drought that was coming over there. We seen the world. Don't you remember when the Lord knows when the cold wind blows, it'll turn your head around? Well, we were all in that thought, trying to change the world, you know. And you can't say, well,
Oh, if only I got
the
it
Jews
saved.
are the
Oh, look, there's
chosen
one,
children
except
of
I can't
God,
fucking
and
pick
these
it
Germans
up.
are no good because their forefathers
Oh, my God.
fought. No.
What do I do?
The Germans are no worse than the Jews, and the blacks are no worse than the Mexicans, and the Mexicans are no worse than the Filipinos, and the Filipinos are no worse than the Chinese. So how do you reach a one with that whole circle? How do you reach a one with that whole circle? How do you have peace on this earth? You can't have peace on this earth unless you let Second World War die. You want to keep the Second World War going? You want to keep selling and buying Germans and dead Indians on TV every day? You know, that's got to stop. The Second World War's got to stop. And it's got to stop in the Jews. The Jews won't let the Second World War stop. They keep the Second World War going. They keep it going. They keep it going. They keep perpetuating it because they're making money. As soon as the Second World War was over,
Calm
they never
down,
stopped the
Charlie.
brainwash. The brainwash that they were selling the American public was making money. You see what I'm saying? They were making money. They're not going to stop making money. If the combination's there to make money, they're going to keep selling it. They'll sell it all the way till I'm in the cell with a guy named Millman, Jerry Millman. And he's got pictures of Hitler and Japanese and things all that. I said, boy, Hitler must have been a hell of a guy. He said, Hitler was terrible. I hate him. I hate him. I said, why do you hate him? He said, I'm a Jew. I said, well, why do you enshrine this guy? Is he your daddy? And he looked up to his mother's
Can I
fear.
put something?
And his
Yes,
mother's fear was
yes.
Hitler. Hitler was like his father figure.
Thank you.
He loved Hitler, but he hated Hitler. He needed Hitler to hold him up. Because Hitler was holding his hate up. Because without his hate, he didn't exist. He didn't have no reason to live unless he had some hate. He didn't have any reason to buy and sell unless the money held him up. You took the money away from him, you took the hate away from him, he'd be gone. So how do you communicate to a whole group of people? You stand up and you take the worst fear symbol there is and say, there, now I've got your fear. Now I've got your fear. And your fear is your power, and your power is your control. I'm your king of this whole planet. I'm going to rule this whole world through Atwa. I want my trees put back. I want my water clean. I want my atmosphere cleaned up. What you do beyond that, I don't care what church you go to or what race you are, what color you are, what blah, 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 and all that nickel and dime personal important trash head stuff. I don't care about that. All I care about is my air, my water, my trees, and my wildlife. And you humans, if you don't get in line with that, goodbye. Because I got biology, and I got chemistry, and I got things beyond the nuclear mine. I won't blow it up. I checkmated that. I got all the bombs over here in the corner. I said, no, I'm not blowing it up. Now the next step of dealing with you suicidal maniacs that won't get up off my life, my air, my water, my trees, my wildlife, my fish. You see, I live on the earth. God gave me a life on that earth, and I live there. And everybody that's taken my life off the earth is taking yours off the earth also. It's taking because you don't have any more right than I do. I don't care whether you're black, whether you're green. If I don't have any rights, then you don't have any rights. And what you do to me will be done to you.
Hey, wait, don't I use this?
Charlie,
Oh.
people have said that you have powers, that you can make people do what you want them to
Well,
do.
sure. Sure.
That's true?
Why, certainly.
How so?
By making them do what I want them to do.
How do you do it?
These two guys here with that stick. He has power with that stick to make me do what he tells me to do.
So what's your stick?
What's your stick?
I've been under that stick 43 years.
How do you make people do what you want them
I
to
just
do?
turn that around and give it back to you. What you put on me with that, I just take that and throw it back at you.
Are you saying that you used violence to make people do what you wanted them to do?
No, I don't deal in violence. I'm not a violent person. My record's been, I've been on record, all my life's been on record, and I'm not violent. I learned that whatever you put out, you get back. And I don't like to be hurt, so I'm not going to hurt anyone.
All this stuff about Charles Manson, the guru, the person that people follow, is that true?
Sure,
Why? Why did they follow you?
because I'm in the soul.
Silver Cross.
I'm in the fist.
2 guns and a Silver Cross.
What does that mean?
The fist, the family of the infinite soul. The eyes are the windows of the soul. When I show you something once, you know it's there. You've seen it. It's in your soul. It becomes a part of you.
Do you still have people who write to you, who visit you if they can, who follow you?
The whole world's following you.
Dizzy.
There's no place else they can go.
Babe.
What do you
I
tell
haven't found no place to run. And I'm following the next guy in front of me. Everybody's following someone.
Do you believe that you have powers
To know more than any other man.
no more than any other man?
Oh, well, all men have powers. Some people know it, some people don't. Some people understand the power they have, and other people don't understand the power they have.
What is it about you that made all these young people come to you, that made them follow you?
The music.
Just the music.
I sing like that.
Charlie. Love you, buddy.
Yeah. Kind of put you on
NGC.
center, huh?
No
Well,
tower
it's loud.
Yeah, I sing loud. I sing real loud.
It grabs your attention.
It does. It does. It kind of reaches in there and breaks all the pattern in your brain. See, your music is Barry Manilow and all them ooh pop pop, and they sing it to little girls for
No
$1
tower
and a
controls your
quarter.
arena.
I'm singing up where God rolls. I'm singing up in the top echelons of the music.
Have you always sung like that?
No. I started a rebirth movement in '67. Everybody else stole it. Carter stole it. Everybody said, oh, this is us. They locked me up and say, oh, this is us. We represent that. You know, I'm important on that, and then they'll want to make their little decision, and they'll say, let me get in there. Because everybody wants in there first. You know how that goes.
Do you ever think about Sharon Tate and the people that were killed that night?
No, not that much.
Oh.
But everybody said, oh, this is us. They locked me up and say, oh, this is us. We represent that. You know, I'm important on that, and then they'll want to make their little decision, and they'll say, let me get in there. Because everybody wants in there first. You know how that goes.
Come on.
Do you ever think about Sharon Tate and the people that were killed that night?
No, not that much. Why should I? A lot of people get killed. People get killed all over the world every day.
Do you feel any responsibility for what happened that night?
None.
remorse for what happened that night?
How am I going to feel remorse? What am I supposed to feel remorse about? Everyone says, you feel no remorse. I said, can't you understand I'm not guilty of anything? And they said, well, you're supposed to feel remorse. I'm supposed to feel remorse because you don't understand, because you're twisted in your brain? You know, in other words, someone comes in and says, you were in New York City last night. You said, no, I wasn't. And they said, well, don't you feel bad about it? You said, feel bad about what? Said that people that happen in New York City. Man, I wasn't in New York City. I wasn't there. I was in San Diego in bed with some broad I'd met in Big Sur. I didn't have no family. I had a motorcycle, a sleeping bag, and a guitar. Guy, I just got out of the penitentiary. I hadn't been out of jail long enough to they say, well, you got our kids to do this.
What's kids, 2 guns?
You had your kids to do that. Your kids were doing that before I got out of the penitentiary. I just got out of jail. Can't you understand that? You know, you tell the people something, and they've got their minds made up a certain way. You dig what I'm saying? And you tell them something, and they just don't know. What am I supposed to feel remorse about? Do you feel remorse that every day of my life you tormented me with these idiots that you got holding me down? That you beat me and knocked my jaw out, you forced me medication, you've drugged me up down hallways, you hit my head on every chopping block in the state of California. You've poisoned me, you've done everything. I've puked blood for months and days, man. You've done everything you could do to get me killed, and then you turn around and ask me, do I have any remorse?
This is Jurassic Park 2.
If I have the right to do to you what you've been doing to me, then that gives me the right to do anything I want to, anyone I want to do it to. Can you see now? Well, you better give me my rights. Because as you're doing this to me, you're doing this to all these children, and they're all these cells, and they're growing up just like you're raising them up with no rights. And even the guys in the uniforms are looking at it and saying, what am I doing this for? Why am I cheating this guy? He's got no money. Why don't I go up the hill and take the money away? You know, if you give DuPont the same right you give me, you can put DuPont in the cell and take everything he's got. Take his children, rape his women, drag him up and down the highway. Everything's okay when it comes to doing it to Charlie. And Charlie's been carried.
What the fuck? That was...
And Charlie knows in the background that when the wave comes in, the wave goes out. And each time the wave comes in, the wave goes out. And you're all going to get the reflection in the mirror that you put in this child here. And it's got nothing to do with me helping you, because I'm gone from you people now. I'm out in the desert. I'm doing what I'm doing. The only people I would be helping, I'll help Squeaky. And I put my life up to protect her, even though I know she's the devil. I'd help Blue. I'd help Green.
Oh, yeah,
and I'd help Yellow. And I would help all the girls
I
who
can
got
shoot
busted
these.
with me, because they know me in the thought
no.
of this. All the guys in my father's house, there are many mansions. If it were not true, I would not have told you so. And it's just as true then as it is true now, as it will be true forever and ever and ever. I don't care what the Christians say. Jesus Christ is a reality.
I'll just steer the boat.
So you feel loyalty to certain people who you feel have stood by you.
Sure, the people that tell me the truth, I'm bound to tell them the truth back. The people that have treated me right, I am bound to treat them right back. The people that have not treated me right, the Holy Ghost will deal with that.
Why do you say Squeaky Fromm is the devil?
Because all women are. They have to be to survive.
Men aren't.
Sure, men are too. Sure, we have both. We hold both balances.
Oh.
Women are worse?
I'm gonna
I
die.
would say, yeah. I would say, well, if you get Mama Lion is very vicious. The Queen of England has never lost a war. Woman has the power. Woman sends these guys to work every day. Woman puts it on the road. She has the will, plus the supermarket. I have the reality of numbers.
Get out of here.
And I have the fishing pole. I have other things. But, see, the games that you guys play with your woman and man thing, we don't play that man-woman thing. You know, you guys are all hung up in them soap operas. They're killing themselves over crazy things that really, you know, it doesn't mean anything. When you peak the peak and you touch the ultimate, then you walk with the ultimate in your soul forever, man. You know, and you can't put a personality on that. You can't say, well, I'll now pronounce you man and wife, you know, and all that thing that was somewhere else, because the rebirth movement that I started Don't go back and pick up the same old shit. Excuse my French.
All right,
You
here
don't
we
go
go.
back and pick up
Come
the
back.
same old trash can.
We got a
You
steering wheel.
start all over. And starting all over means starting all over. And when you start all over,
All
it's a constant rebirth thing. It's not going back to Sunday
So have a
school or
steering-
Swigert or Baker or the Pope or the rope soap. That's all dead. That's all old game. That's all graveyard game. You know that Jesus was a reality. He died so I could live. I'm not going to miss out on that. I'm getting up on that train too. That doesn't mean that I live by a bunch of foolish rules, that a bunch of old people are left by old people that left by old people that... Because let me run something to you. What it took Jesus Christ 2,000 years to do, in thought, in word, in deed, you can do now with television in 2 or 3 months. You see what I'm saying? And what the Constitution and the people that founded this country in 1776 did, you know, like the government's got 9 Supreme Court justices for 20 million people in the 1800s. Man, you got 250 million people. That's like a fat woman, 500 pounds, trying to get into a size 10 dress. The government's not working. The system is not working, and they won't admit it. They think building more prisons is the solution. Building more prisons just add more confusion to the problem that's already at hand. You know?
Charlie, what would you do if you wanted to? Is there anything at all that you would change about your life?
Yeah, I would have planted them other trees.
What shit?
You know, I'm just as stupid as anybody else. I'm no smarter than anybody. I'm no better than anybody. But nobody's better than me either. You know, you could ask that question yourself, I guess. You know,
Thanks for tuning in.
I don't.